Alright, how's it going, everybody? This is Ismortah, and I'm here this evening to talk to you about this board game, which you may or may not have heard of, or on these different channels that I'm referring to, Elemancers, with the working title being Elemancers Light and Dark. This being tied to sort of the story that's happening during the core game, with then different following text based on expansions are added. For example, I'm thinking about adding the Order of Fate being for the expansion, for example. So thanks for joining. For this segment, I just want to, in general, tell you guys about sort of like what is Elemancers, what is this project, what's currently going on with the game, and then what are the plans to get this developed by Q4 2019, which is the current goal. So Elemancers, as you sit here to look at all the pretties on the slideshow, is a strategy-based fantasy board game that's largely area control, which also has card and dice combat mechanics, as well as some set collection and resource management, and of course some really cool pretties and minis as well, which is always good. And this game is actually a team-based game. It's not what you think of, a team-based game, everyone's on the same team, or a defector. It's actually two teams. You have the light faction and the dark faction, and it plays 2 to 6 players. So it just, as there's less or more players, then you will just control more of those different clans, 6 clans being in the game. And it's an awesome game, and we just currently got through our alpha phase, and so now we're incorporating the feedback and planning for the next steps, being the beta build. Difference from an alpha and beta build: alpha build is you're testing the core mechanics of the game, and you have representative art. Whereas the beta build is a complete game, and you're just largely stress testing and usability testing, see if people can figure out how to play the game. And by stress testing, what I mean is when you have multiple players, to be able to test out mechanics you can't typically bang out yourself doing combat scenarios, to see like certain interactions that happen when you actually have a large scale number of players. So we can see here what I'm doing with this is the website for Shadow Balance Games. This is actually our first game that we're publishing with again Kickstarter planned for Q4 of this year, and looking forward to it. And we already have a pretty good plan on how we're going to get there, with the idea being to finish the game, all of the core materials in 3 months, and then promote the game for 3 months, or for whatever it is, based on when the beta build gets completed, and the build produced by end of this year. But we definitely want to start talking about it now, so we get people excited and sort of getting the word out on like what is the game about, what are cool things that we're introducing or want to get players feedback on. So you see below, these are some of the different avenues that you can engage with material having to do with either the company, what I'm doing in the hobby industry, or Elemancers specific information. And then below here, what I have is updates for major things that's happening development-wise with the game. That's going to be in the news. So this section would just be dedicated to major things that's happening with the game and announcements. Whereas smaller updates and sort of like what I'm doing in the hobby industry, certain things I'm interacting with in the hobby industry, as well as interesting notifications for example, the Twitch, if you want to get involved live, those will be found on the Twitter. I'll go more into that a little bit later. Yeah, so currently in the news, what's currently happening is I'm volunteering again. I did the same thing with the alpha build about, when was that? I think it was 4 months ago, I want to say. be involved with the 30-day project with the day nights. What am I talking about? So let me see if he's still streaming. Yes. So who you see here is Day 9. He also goes by the name of Sean Plott. And you probably recognize him from either hosting different panels for StarCraft, of which he was a major player and competitor, especially for StarCraft 1. But also hosted panels for StarCraft 2, as well as BlizzCon. And he's involved in Magic and some other popular games out there. But what he does every season is have what's called a 30-day project. And this is an interesting platform, which you can see here, which you can just do any project you can think of. Anything from, I'm going to vacuum my house, twice a month, to I'm going to create code for this software that I'm working on. And so what's really cool about it is it gives you this motivational platform that you can say what you're working on, what your goals are each week, just to motivate you to get something done. And then you can join and follow other people's projects, get involved, as you see here, in different groups, so people can be aware and ask you questions and help push you along. This is great because this is the first month of the beta build push to really see how much I can do. The goal for the 30-day project isn't to have defined goals to get done for a certain period of time, because then it's also punishing if you don't meet those goals. It's just to set something just to push you to get stuff done. If you get a little bit done every week, then you'll eventually get done over time. But if you don't do anything, you'll never get it done. So it's a great motivational push, especially for I'm just entering the beta. I did this project, a 30-day project, also for the alpha build, and worked very well, just to get that initial planning done and get banging out some of the major things they need to knock out. And so doing that again this month. So my 30-day project and a lot of other people started yesterday. Oh wait, no, actually starts today. I just posted it yesterday, and then it'll go for a month. And so the goal is to see how much I can do, which I've listed here. The fact I'm trying to incorporate the feedback from the alpha build, complete the UI design. By that, what I mean is the flavor text, the look of the game text, and any backgrounds and borders for the game boards or the cards. I already have all of the illustrations done, the miniatures are done, and so it's just those other UI elements to add. 3D miniature printing, as well as rulebook construction. I already have the core rules of the game, but I haven't put work into the actual rulebook yet, because I want to have the final look and feel of the game completed first. Because really the rulebook, what it's all about is trying to get people to understand what to do in the game, not necessarily reference to the core rules, which is something I already have. I'm just updating and play around with the values of different rules to make the game more balanced. But anyway, you can follow what's happening for this month here, as well have weekly updates or updates every couple days here, saying what I've accomplished, what I'm trying to do, and sort of things I'm thinking about for the beta build. Going back to here, you can notice some praise. I'll have you check out the slideshow. I'm sort of I know it's me tooting my own horn, but the game just looks awesome. Like I say, it's just missing some UI treatment, but see these illustrations, just fantastic. It had some great artists that were on the ELEMANCERS project team, and it just really brings out all the different fantasy elements and what I wanted the look and where I wanted to go with the feel of this game. Here you can see a better look of some of the miniatures in the game. These are the gods of light and darkness. That represents one of the two different factions. And these you see are slightly painted, but it did really bring out the detail, and this looks so freaking awesome. For the actual final version of the game, there will just be one color tint like you see up here. And this, for example, of the different miniatures. This example we see here of the creature cards. This example of the location tiles, which will be tiles, but it will be affixed to a board, so it won't be movable tiles. These are examples of the citadels in the game that you see here. And this example of the game box, but that's still tentative because I'm probably going to change the look of the Elemancer just logo as well as the game box. It's more likely that dragon you saw is going to be probably the cover for the expansion, because that's really the angle of the expansion, is introducing the dragon and that the Order of Fate to the game. Whereas the core game is these two opposing factions that are warring over this world. So what I'm going to do next is just show you what some of these different social media channels I'm using are used for, and how you can find information about the game and learn more about different aspects. So the first one is my Twitch channel, which is Ismortah, which is my character name that I use for absolutely everything, any game I play in the history of ever. It was one of the original D&D characters I created long ago, and it's also a character, in Elemancer's. Big surprise there. So we see on the lower left here is contact information for Shadow Balance games, which that's what I'm going through. On the right side here is the streaming schedule for the Twitch stream. So my streams will always be tentatively, unless I find it works better for a different time, 7 p.m. PST, but then different days I'll have different content. So on Mondays it'll be a focus on either classic or arcade video games, and this is stuff like Metal Slug, Castlevania, Battletoads, either arcade game or a classic like old school Nintendo or PS1 game. Wednesdays will be focus on Elemancers. So this will be either me talking about different aspects of design, answering questions that the community has, updates for the Kickstarter, or actually showing play sessions or testing sessions. Fridays and Saturdays, this is going to be role-playing video games. Just what it describes. So games that you're just like immersed in some sort of role. And I'll be either playing Monster Hunter World, Sea of Thieves, or World of Warcraft. Sundays will be board games, just the board game hobby industry. They'll either be showing me building different miniatures for certain games, talking about strategy, how to win, or certain tactics to think about in certain board games, showing off my collections, or actually showing play sessions of these other board games that I engage with. And these are some of the people that I host, and one of them that you see up above chatting away is Day9 TV. He's a pretty funny guy. I definitely recommend checking him out. So whenever I have videos on Twitch, you can find them here. And I also, what I do is, not only do I upload the video, but then I also upload it to the section for that series for that day. So if it was arcade or classic, you'll notice you'll find a section for arcade classic games. So you can just watch all of those videos just for that, and find them more easily for that section, that type of material. What I also do is any highlights or very short streams that I've made, I'll also upload to YouTube. So you can find them here as well. So you can watch them at your leisure if you prefer this platform. But for the Twitch, I'll also make highlights of the best things that happen during a stream, so you can watch those. Especially since I'm not a partner yet in Twitch, my videos will eventually go away, but as far as I know, the highlights will stay. So you can find the content either here or on YouTube under Shadow Balance Games. The Facebook page is used for just talking about Elemancer's only material, things that are happening just with Elemancer's development-wise. Again, you can find that information, general updates, and what's happening here in the news, as well as you can go to media for reviews, videos, eventually also a gallery, and play session events, as well as information for the company. But that information will also be communicated as updates here on the Facebook page. The Twitter page, however, this is for any updates. So this will not only update you on stuff that's happening with Elemencers, but also stuff that's happening with my engagement with the hobby industry, or just cool pop culture stuff that's happening